So, hello aspirants, good morning. So, I welcome you all again for this Insights Ignite session. So, today with us we have a very special guest, Kishore sir. So, Kishore sir, Priyank Kishore sir. So, Priyank sir have secured All India rank in UPSC Civil Service Examination 2019-20. Presently, sir is posted in Mizoram, and today he shall be discussing with you his life journey about civil service examination and various facets related to this examination. So, without wasting much time, I will hand over the podium to the Priyank sir, and if you have any doubts, you can ask him after the session. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would also take this opportunity to thank everyone here at Insights for giving me an opportunity to talk to all of you. In fact, I have not done such a talk in a very long time now. 2 years back, I cleared this exam, and this is only the first time I am talking to such a large group of students. And I'll tell you, I have some selfish interests as to why I'm here with all of you. So the main reason why I'm here is because it also keeps us motivated. It brings us back to our roots, and always gives us a fresh insight when we talk to young people like you. I'll just tell you briefly about my journey and my association with Bangalore and with Insights. I'm from Jamshedpur. My father is a police officer. He's in the state police, and that was my initial motivation to start preparing for this exam. I always wanted to be an IPS officer. Somehow marks thode zyada aa gaye, so I ended up in the IAS. So there's a reason why the name is Insights IAS, not Insights IPS, Insights IRS, Insights Foreign Service. So somehow I discovered myself in the 2 years of training that I spent in Mussoorie, followed by 1 year of district training in Mizoram. I decided that my true calling, my truest calling and my passion lay in public service, and the IAS gives you an unparalleled platform for public service. So 2 years in the service, I have got some perspective. I would say I still have long 35 years to go. But in these 2 years, the perspective that I have built about the service is that this is the best place to do public service. So that set aside, let's come back to my journey. 2014, I came to Delhi University as a very nervous, anxious 17-year-old. And I got into Ramjas College. I would have hoped to got into SRCC or St. Stephen's or somewhere Hansraj Hindu, but as luck would have it, I ended up at Ramjas. I studied commerce at Ramjas, and my 3 years at Ramjas College. So why I'm telling you this is because a lot of times things happen in life, and the things that happen, we perceive them as something bad has happened with us. But a few years down the road, you realize that this was in my best interest, and that is exactly what happened at Ramjas. Ramjas में attendance का कोई issue नहीं था, तो 70% attendance was for namesake, and it was there that I worked extensively on my personality. I did a lot of quizzing, lot of debating, a lot of work in an organization called Enactus. So there was no attendance issue. I could indulge extensively in extracurricular activities, and side by side in my 3rd year of college, I also started preparing for UPSC. Now, how did I start preparing? I was very clueless. No one in my family had ever written the CSE. Not one person that I knew or I was friends with had written or taken this exam. So I just started Googling कि अब क्या करना है type. It was 2016-17, and one of the first articles that I read about CSE preparation was on Insights. It was by Nandini KR ma'am, I think rank 1 2016. That was one of the first articles that I had read about CSE preparation, and from there I went on to many blogs, many articles I read on Runal, on different sources. But that is when I zeroed down on the Insights website in 2017. Back then there was a host of articles that Vinay sir had written in his initial days about CSE preparation. So I went through, read through all those articles, and I realized that matlab there is something called NCRTs, and I always studied in an ICSE school. So NCRTs कुछ होते हैं and NCRTs पढ़ना पड़ेगा. So in my final year of college in 2016-17 I read through NCRTs और सारे NCRTs पढ़े. उसके बाद फिर जो भी एडवांस टेक्स्ट बुक्स है, ऑल द टेक्स्ट बुक्स यू नो, वो सारे पढ़े. एंड देन आई स्टार्टेड सॉल्विंग इनसाइट्स डेली करंट अफेयर्स. 5 क्वेश्चंस आते थे. तो 5 में जिस दिन मुझे 4 आता था उस दिन आई यूज्ड टू बी इलेटेड कि चलो आई हैव डन गुड वर्क फॉर माई सेल्फ. जिस दिन 2 आते थे, 1 आते थे, 0 भी आता था तो थोड़ा बुरा लगता था कि somehow my preparation is not aligned with the demands of the exam. But ठीक है, करते करते I graduated out of college and 2017 I had made up my mind that I have to start preparing for the IPS for UPSC. तो my father told me कि यार देखो ठीक है, you want to prepare for UPSC but it's a very unpredictable exam as all of us know. So backup should be in place. So keeping that in mind, I gave the entrance of Delhi School of Economics. There my all India rank was 29 in that exam. And again, like I said, matlab there are many things that happen with you in life, and now I am a firm believer in that when the things are happening, you don't know why they are happening. But I ended up at DSE, and the 2 years at DSE were transformative. अच्छे professors हैं, बहुत अच्छी library थी. And I started preparing in the DSE library. 1 year I prepared. I enrolled for the INSIGHTS IAS जो टेस्ट सीरीज होता था प्रीलिम्स का. I still remember 8,500 रुपए का था उस साल. तो 8,500 rupees I paid and I enrolled for the exam. And there were 35 tests in that. And my entire preparation strategy in the first attempt, if I would have to encapsulate in a nutshell, was that every 7 day they had an exam. Insights had an exam, and every 3rd week there used to be a gap. I mean, you got it, no? 2 exams, and the 3rd exam would be in the 4th week. My only strategy was that throughout the week I would just blindly read whatever resources were listed down in the Insights test, and my only work was to somehow score more than 100 in Insights tests. Now prelims so I cleared with flying colors. That was my first attempt. I scored 120. But the casualty in such an approach was that I ended up with 255 in my optional, which was commerce. So 2018 mein 255 was a very bad score. Now because people were scoring in excess of 300 that year. Now 260, 270 has come to be a good score. But 255 I had in my optional in 2018. And my rank in my first attempt was 274. So somehow you would not believe, with 255, and 274 is a decent rank, with 255 in my optional, I was still ranked 274. I was a person in the list with the least marks in the optional. ठीक है, but despite that I was in the list because of the solid GS preparation that I had done. 1 year I had simply devoted to GS, right, to prelims in fact, and my answer writing skills and all were decent. So I somehow scraped through prelims. And then in mains also I did well, like GS and SA I did well, interview also I did well, and somehow with below average score in optional I got rank 274. But after giving my prelims of 2018, I was clueless. I didn't know what to do, and not a lot of, because I have not talked about this anywhere else. I had not taken any coaching, I didn't have any mentors, I didn't have any friends who were preparing for this exam. And I was very frustrated of just sitting in Delhi and preparing 1 year. Matlab I'm a very restless sort of a person. So 1 year had been too much for me to just study in Delhi. So I should have brought that email like a very juvenile 22, 23-year-old. I wrote an email to Vinay sir in 2019 saying I will be clearing prelims this year, and you can see in your database I have always done very well in Insights prelims test series. I plan to relocate to Bangalore for 3-4 months. Can you just help, can you just guide me during these 3 months as part of UPSC, like between prelims and mains. So that was when I landed in Bangalore. This is June of 2018. And first 3-4 days were miserable because back then, 4 years back, the states of PGs were miserable, yaar. Matlab, first 3-4 days I was just appalled at what was happening with me. And it's not like matlab Delhi mein also my life was not king size, but matlab here it was really bad. So I kept moving around. I had some friends in RT Nagar. I stayed with them, but I had overstayed my I had also overstayed with them. So finally I decided कि भाई अब कुछ तो करना है. And there was a library, there was a Shravasti hospital. There was a library on the top floor, Insights Library. I started preparing in that. Now one thing that is different in Insights Library, has someone studied in ORN here? Old Rajendra Nagar say, is there someone who has relocated to Bangalore? So the libraries in Insights are much better, much more spacious than ORN libraries. ORN libraries are very cramped. So I started studying in Shravasti Library. And there I met one guy, his name is Abhishek Dhiman. Abhishek, surprisingly, like he didn't clear in 2018-19, the 2 years I cleared. But sometime back I got a follow request on Instagram just the day before by someone called Abhishek Dhiman IPS. So I got very clueless, is it the same Abhishek Dhiman I had met in Insights? So I just, and I was so happy for him that 2 years he hadn't cleared, he had cleared the state service of Himachal Pradesh, but 2021 he finally made it into the IPS. And Abhishek is the guy with who I decided to share a room. So those 3 months, Abhishek and I were staying somewhere close to this area, and both of us were preparing from Insights. 18-19 I cleared, 18-19-20 he didn't clear, but finally 2021 he made it into the IPS. Now, and he's in his home cadre, Himachal Pradesh. Now my journey was very different from Abhishek's. My journey doesn't have a lot of stress, lot of struggle involved, because I cleared every time I wrote the exam. Abhishek didn't. But despite that, he would keep, like, he had a quest for improvement. He would keep texting me after every result. Like 18 he texted me, 19, 20, that Priyank, let's get on a call. And honestly, I didn't have too much to tell him, because we had prepared together. He had already done most of the things I would have asked him to do, right? But somehow the gist from this story is, if you stick to a right approach, you will clear. This I have felt. I mean, if your approach towards the exam is correct, and if your intention is honest, eventually you will scrape through. And that is what I learned from Abhishek's journey. So anyhow, 2019 attempt I wrote again, because 274 में तो IPS मिलता नहीं, और देखो होता ऐसा है कि अगर उसी साल IPS मिल जाता तो I wouldn't have written the exam again, but नहीं मिला. तो I wrote it again, and this time I was much more confident. I also thought कि पहला अटेम्प्ट था, कॉमर्स में आई हैव डन पुअरली, तो इस बार थोड़ा मेहनत करेंगे तो अच्छा हो जाएगा. तो सेकंड अटेम्प्ट आई गिव, एंड अगेन आई परफॉर्म वेरी पुअरली इन कॉमर्स. I got 260 in the attempt I finally cleared, but 260 in my second attempt was a decent score. So anyhow, now what do you have to take from my journey? Have all of you zeroed down on your optional? If you have not zeroed down, or if you have any doubts with respect to your optional, take some time off, think properly for 10 days, 15 days, and make sure you have committed to a right optional. 2 years I have given with commerce, and people score left, right and center. Yeah, there are people who scored 300 plus in my optional, but twice I struggled with the same optional. And if God forbid I hadn't cleared the second time, then the third time again with the same optional, my situation would have been precarious. My situation would have been the same. So the second thing is, please take the optional decision correctly, right? So once I cleared, I went to academy. वो जो भी मतलब फंडेबाजी academy में होती है, training हुई, और I got the AGMUT cadre, which was my second preference after my home state. And for district training, I went to Mizoram. Now, Mizoram is a great place. In my entire life, I had never traveled east of Calcutta, and it was the first time I just landed in the northeast, not as a tourist, but as an administrator. So I landed there, and then someone told me, ILP है क्या? तो मैंने बोला हाँ, इनर लाइन परमिट तो पढ़ा था पहले कि क्या होता है, but government officials luckily are exempted from the ILP. So I somehow reached my guest house, and I started staying in Mizoram. the first couple of months whenever you join a new place or a new job or a new posting will always be difficult, no matter where you are, on what job you are doing, on what side of the pecking order you are. But the first couple of months will always be very tough, and the first 2 months in Mizoram were very difficult because the food was new, the language was new, the administrative structure was unknown. So gradually I tried to learn as much as I could and tried to contribute in the best way I could. So what you can take away from this now, that there will be a lot of you who would have started preparing for UPSC recently. Just raise your hands who are taking the first attempt in 2023. So majority. So first 2 or 3 months, I guess you would have started preparation in June or July. First 2 or 3 months will be quite difficult. Okay? But stick to it. Come to coaching every day because you are enrolled in coaching. Read the newspapers, go back, revise notes, watch YouTube videos of those subjects that you are weak at. But if you just somehow scrape through these initial months of difficulty, then life will get a little more comfortable. I can assure you that. So, ये तो है my journey. After a year in Mizoram, I came back to Mussoorie. There's something called phase 2, finished training, and then all IAS officers are sent to deputation to Government of India for 4 months. So I got deputed to the Ministry of Communications, the Department of Posts, and it is because of a project. I am working on a project for the Department of Posts, because of which I am here. So I just thought I'll take out some time and talk to all of you. So this was my journey. Now, talking about UPSC preparation in particular, I'll just take another 15-20 minutes of your time, talk to you, tell you whatever I can about UPSC preparation, and then I'll take up questions, right? So, अच्छा, before that, tell me, how do all of you feel here? मतलब कैसा लग रहा है? Anxious हो, nervous हो? What are your expectations from you with respect to this exam? Can someone tell me how they are feeling about the preparation up till now? कोई भी? बताओ.
Anxious about my preparation, whether it is enough or not sure.
अरे that तो even if rank 1 after he or she clears, even there must be a degree of anxiety always. मतलब anxiety leads to improvement, I feel. ठीक है. But otherwise, everyone is in a good mental space. If someone is not in a great mental space, please talk to me once this class is over outside. ठीक है. Now coming to the preparation. देखो, a lot has been said about this exam. Is there someone in this room who has cleared prelims before? Prelims कोई clear किया है? नहीं. ठीक है. Anyone who has written more than 2 attempts? You. ठीक है. So a lot has been said about the evolving nature of this exam. ठीक है. The books, I'm sure all of you know. NCRTs पढ़ने हैं, insights के daily current affairs पढ़ने हैं, और PIB, PRS, योजना कुरुक्षेत्र कुछ नहीं पढ़ना है. But जब prelims clear होगा तो big picture RSTV 2x में देख लेना है. ठीक है. तो ये सबको पता है. But despite this, everyone is reading the same material, and everyone is like 99% people are failing at prelims. अब जब prelims fail होता है आदमी तो लोग तो फंडे जो देते हैं लोग वो कहने लगता है अरे prelims is unpredictable, इसलिए सब तुक्के मास्टर लोग हैं इसलिए क्लियर हो जाता है. तो एक बात सोचो, जो तुक्के मास्टर होते हैं उनका 5 बार लगातार क्यों तुक्का लगता है? You would have seen a pattern ना, मतलब a person who's cleared prelims, he's cleared it 6 times in a row. I cleared it twice in a row. First time I had 120, next time I had 130. And then there are some people who've never cleared prelims. So this is very unfair, no, for the people जिसका तुक्का सही लगा. ठीक है, उसको तुम बोल दिया कि भाई तुम्हारे तुक्के लग गए, भाई इसके 6 बार लग गए, इसके 6 बार नहीं लगे. तो थोड़ा सा तो पैरिटी रखना पड़ेगा ना, मतलब. तो तुक्के तो हैं जरूरी, ठीक है, लेकिन अब भाई तुक्के लगते कैसे हैं? ठीक है, दैट इज द साइंस ऑफ गेस मास्टरगिरी. ठीक है, तो अब तुक्के लगेंगे कैसे सही? लेट्स टॉक अबाउट प्रीलिम्स फर्स्ट. पहले तो जितने एनसीईआरटीज है ना हमारे पास 6 से 12 के बीच के, लैंग्वेजेस को छोड़ के, लाइक लीविंग लैंग्वेजेस असाइड, all NCRTs from 6 to 12. Languages, maths, leaving that aside, that should be on your fingertips. Matlab, I'll tell you a very extreme statement, but a lot of us believe that Lakshmikant is the mainstay for UPSC exam. I can go to the extent of saying this on record, I might be recorded also, that you don't need to read Lakshmikant for clearing prelims. I read it because I followed the herd mentality. But if you read Indian Constitution at work, the class 11 and 12 NCRTs, most of the questions can be directly solved from there. If you look at the pattern of questions that are asked in polity by UPSC these days, you would realize that they are not, the questions on polity are just conceptual. They don't want you to remember which fundamental rights are denied to aliens and which fundamental rights are only for, I'm not this busy actually, just some people asking me where I am. So, right. So coming back to as to how important NCRTs are. You read NCRTs cover to cover, page to page. Now some of you might ask me कि notes बनाने हैं या नहीं NCRT से. तो notes का ये है कि your notes should be 1/10 of your subject matter. ठीक है. A lot of time, a lot of people waste a lot of time making notes. ठीक है कि एकदम सुंदर सुंदर बनाए हैं. अरे नोट्स ऐसे होना चाहिए कि पहले अटेम्प्ट में क्लियर हो, उसको जलाओ फिर बाद में. 5th अटेम्प्ट तक नोट्स नहीं रखने हैं, लास्ट अटेम्प्ट तक. ठीक है. तो नोट्स शुड जस्ट बी, मतलब बहुत ही सिंपल, स्क्रिबल कर लो, वन नोट पे बना लो, एवर नोट पे बना लो, मेक इट वेर एवर यू वांट, बट इट शुड बी वेरी पर्सनल एंड इट शुड जस्ट बी फोकस्ड ऑन दोज थिंग्स दैट यू आर लाइकली टू फॉरगेट. ठीक है. सो दैट इज विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू मेकिंग नोट्स ऑफ NCRTs. Now once you've read NCRTs, then you move on to standard textbooks. You read through only 3 or 4 books. Lakshmikant, Shankar या जो भी environment के लिए पढ़ते हो, Spectrum for modern India, and because मतलब I did economy from different sources, but wherever, like जो भी coaching notes हैं तुम्हारे economy के लिए, keep a very simplistic book list, but read NCRTs, then move on to the standard textbooks and read newspapers. ठीक है. These are 3 parts to this exam. NCRT, standard textbook, newspapers plus some current affairs. Daily insights के current affairs कर लो. ठीक है. अब न्यूज़पेपर का क्या है? अगर इकोनॉमी समझ ही नहीं आएगा तो न्यूज़पेपर भी you will not understand, no? ठीक है. So that is why for it is very important to understand the newspaper. You should have clarity on your basics. You should be able to understand economy के concepts, economy के फंडे. Only then you will be able to understand what the newspaper is reading, saying. So अभी जिनको newspapers completely नहीं समझ में आ रहे हैं, whichever you are reading, Hindu, Indian Express, within 3 or 4 months time you will begin to understand newspaper once your basics are in place. So this is the basic, the foundation. NCRTs, standard textbooks, coaching notes, newspapers, daily current affairs. Now one thing all of you should get into the habit of is making very small notes from Insights daily current affairs. That I did. ठीक है. Very small notes. For instance, if there are 1000 words on the daily CA, don't miss it every day. Just summarize it into 50 words or 100 words, but make summarize Insights का daily CA. Why do you have to summarize? Because monthly magazine will come at the end of the month, but in the interim there is something with which you can revise, right? So this revision can be done from Insights daily current affairs, your own notes. Now once you've read through this, तब मॉक देना शुरू करोगे तो मॉक में आएंगे 40, 50, 55, 60, 40, 50, 55, 60. So then you will feel lost कि यार Priyank sir was the 100 topper who told us to read NCRTs, then standard textbooks, then newspapers, but इनको तो 45, 50 आ रहे हैं. And then there are some people who will say कि toppers hide. अरे there is nothing to hide यार. Why do I have to hide anything that I did? I studied for 10 hours every day for 2 years at a stretch. Sundays I didn't study. There is nothing to hide. So this is just a lot of people have been spreading misinformation or disinformation for unnecessary reasons. You read through the books that have been prescribed from generations and then you start giving tests. you have to be very, very smart now to solve prelims papers. Okay? Just on the basis of the information that you have gathered or the information you have collated. The information you have collated, you will not be able to score more than 40 or 50 marks. Okay? In your prelims. You will have to do. The audio system is quite nice here. I mean, I have not heard my voice to be so crisp in a long time. So, right. So, once you've read through the books, you start solving tests. Now, how do you solve tests? यार, tests solve करने के समय, मतलब I'll have to do another lecture on prelims, like guest mastergiri in prelims. But there are a lot of videos on prelims fun day available on YouTube. You go through those videos. There are certain tips and tricks which work. But these tips and tricks will only work when you have a body of knowledge to base your guesswork on. Right? You will not be able to clear prelims if you are just using tips and tricks in isolation. For instance, I'll tell you one thing from my paper in 2018. So there was, I forgot the question, it's a prelims, but you'll understand what I'm trying to say. So there were 4 festivals, right? And correspondingly there were 4 states and we had to match. Okay? So 2 states I had got it, like there was Bihu, there was Assam, तो वो हो गया, ठीक है? There was some mask festival and there was Ladakh, हो गया. In order to solve this question, I just needed to get one more of the option correct. And the option was, I forgot the name, matlab it was a long name but very northeast Indian sounding name. And there were 2 states, Manipur and Mizoram. ठीक है? तो मतलब UPSC also plays with your head, na? It plays with your head, plays with your emotionally, physically, financially, everything. UPSC takes a toll on, and then some more. ठीक है? Because once you clear, तब cadre का झंझट, service का झंझट, तब झंझट ही खत्म नहीं होता है. But 2 options थे, ठीक है? तो अच्छा ये nice. तो फिर can I have a marker, something to write with? अच्छा, where is this? अच्छा, this really yaar, I'm a generation behind now. Back in our days, they just used to be. Anyway, so my handwriting is not bad. It's the board, I think. So. Right. So this is Ilangbam. Okay, I forgot the name of the festival, but it was a similar sounding name. Okay. So now you have to get, for getting this question correct, you have to know whether this particular, or it was Ilangbom. Okay. You have to know whether this is from Mizoram and Manipur. Now I stayed in Mizoram, so I know कि it's not in Mizoram. But back then I hadn't cleared, no. So अब इसको कैसे solve करोगे, है ना? तो मैं सोच रहा था, I was thinking एग्जाम में ही बीच में, और अगर नहीं सॉल्व करता तो -2.67, if I would have solved तो +2, सॉल्व तो मैं करता, I would have solved it because 2 options I had already got it correct, so I would have taken a guess and solved it, but in case I had got it incorrect, it would have been -2.67. So I was just thinking and I zeroed down on one thing, that MC Mary Com is from where? She is from Manipur. That means this Om has something to do with, this is a Manipuri sounding name. And when I went to the northeast, I realized कि ये जो OM है, ये मतलब उनके, it means किस tribe से हो या किस, मतलब it has a certain meaning. अब इसको naysayers will say it is wild guessing, but I feel that it is just very intelligently deriving an answer based on, this can never go wrong, no? So etymology is something that will really help you in the exam. And I got a question correct like this. But this is just one example. ऐसे there have been so many other questions I would have solved, right? So such tricks and tips you have to utilize. But this is a trick ओनली व्हेन आई न्यू ना कि MC मेरी कॉम इज फ्रॉम मणिपुर, अगर मैं MC मेरी कॉम को मिजोरम से समझता तब तो क्वेश्चन गलत ही था, है ना. So watch and all of these tips and tricks, there is nothing to hide, are available on the internet. There are tens of videos. In fact, you can ask your faculty also to make such video. I'm just making work difficult for them, but ask them to do a session, 1 hour session or 2 hour session on such tips and tricks which will help you clear the exam. There are umpteen examples. If I was to just pick up a UPSC one prelims paper, I'll be able to tell you 25 questions which can be solved on the basis of such intelligent guesswork. And trust me guys, that is what you need for the exam, like for clearing the prelims. ठीक है. So किसी ने अभी तक before giving prelims, जिसने भी दिया है, has someone even had a chance to look at these videos, fundas on YouTube for prelims? नहीं ना. See these videos. ठीक है. It will really help you. मतलब if I have some time at the end, I will just pick up a question paper and I'll show you so many such questions that can be solved using tricks. This is the only thing that will take you one step ahead. 40, 50, everyone will score on the basis of reading of these books, and uske beyond this will take you. तो ये Oh. So, where should I stand? Here. Okay. Some mobility and freedom is restricted once you are in the service. So anyway, now coming to prelims. ठीक है, clear prelims. But back in our days, and I'm not very ancient, but back in our days, CSAT wasn't very difficult. Okay, it has become difficult now. So CSAT is a very lethal weapon that UPSC is using these days to weed out students. And trust me, it has become difficult. So first time around, I had 119 in CSAT. I'm not great at maths, by the way. One reason why I took up commerce was because I wasn't great at maths and science. But despite that, 119 is a respectable score. I did that in CSAT in 2018. 19 was like the inflection year when the syllabus and the contents, when the paper of CSAT started becoming difficult. And my marks from 119 dropped to 95, 97 in the final exam. But still, yaar, matlab 95, 97 from 119 is a drop of 25 marks. So it shows something. It shows that the paper, and if I were to take the exam in 2021, ऐसे 20 गिरते गिरते I would have been at 55. ठीक है. तो थोड़ा सा we have to shield ourselves against this unpredictable nature of UPS CSAT. ठीक है. तो करना क्या है? सबसे पहली बात, comprehension पे you don't have to rely. मतलब हम लोगों को लगता था कि मतलब I thought I'll solve 50 questions out of 80. If I am able to solve 50 questions in the exam, I'll easily score above 100, right? So what I did, सबसे पहले इंग्लिश मेरी ठीक ठाक थी, तो सबसे पहले कॉम्प्रीहेंशन के पूरे 25-30 I would solve. ठीक है, सही कितने होते थे पता नहीं, but all 30 I would solve. Then I would go to reasoning. Those questions I would attack जिसमें वो टेबल वेबल के आसपास जो बैठते हैं, like those 5 people are A, B, C, D, E, F are sitting around a table, F is sitting next to B, who is sitting next to K, that sort. I used to solve because उसमें से 3-4 questions आई, मतलब एक साथ if you are able to do the math correct, and 3 or 4 questions you are able to solve. So such questions I used to solve. And finally फिर profit and loss वगैरह maths में average, profit and loss, ये ऐसे questions. But अब क्या है, you have to reverse the clockwork. First you have to attack reasoning questions, then you have to do maths, and finally you have to do comprehension. Because the number of questions in comprehension has also reduced. And the other thing that UPSC has done is that it has made the comprehensions lengthy, right? So you cannot, guys, no matter what your background is, no matter what you have studied in college, no matter how much you've scored in CAT, comprehension should not be relied upon. ठीक है? So you do math, then reasoning, and then comprehension. तो math कैसे करोगे? all the chapters from which questions are asked in CSAT, like average, profit loss, clock, unitary method, pipes and cisterns, all of that, if you're taking CSAT classes here, well and good, they'll cover everything. With that, you need a certain amount of practice. If you're not taking CSAT coaching, then all of these chapters, the videos you freely go through on YouTube. And then you solve questions like 15 questions, 20 questions on this, on the chapter. Then you do the same for reasoning. This table and all, everything has a table, Venn diagram, everything has some tips and tricks. You go through those videos, solve questions from that chapter. And then finally, you attempt mocks. Mocks mein you should always be clear of 90 marks. Okay? But if you've been able to do these two things that I've told you, tips and tricks and then followed by some questions, then you will be able to score more than 90. So that is CSAT. Now, CSAT clear, prelims clear, ab aaye 3 mahine. Okay, 3 months. I don't know, different people would have different perspectives on this, but the most difficult stage of this exam is prelims. And the most enjoyable part is mains, interview. Okay? And it is mains which is a mixture of two, because yeah, mains may all said and done, you have the flexibility, no? If they are asking you who built Taj Mahal, if you don't know the answer, write Akbar, but you can write something, no? But that level of flexibility is not available to you in prelims, hai na? So mains, I feel, whatever they are asking, you have to write what you know, hai na? So mains is a little relaxed stage. But how will you make it, how do you ensure that it is more relaxed? When you're preparing for prelims, na, 1 saal pehle, like these days you're preparing for GS, you make sure that you've finished about 80% of your optional syllabus. Right now, like from, abhi to September ho gaya, but you would have started preparing in July. So from July up till just before prelims, 3 months before prelims, so just study for prelims. But from July this year up till next year, March, you make sure that you have finished 80% of your optional syllabus. ठीक है? And if you have the time and energy, तो एक GS4 या GS3 के make some small notes. I'll come to how to make notes also. ठीक है? But what you should have necessarily done is that 80% of your optional syllabus and prelims का entire syllabus you should have done. नेक्स्ट ईयर कब है प्रीलिम्स? May 28. तो मार्च से मतलब फरवरी तक, सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी, अभी 6 महीने हैं, 6 months you have. In this 6 months, make sure you've completed 80% of your syllabus, and if you have time and energy left, तो GS3, GS4 के थोड़े थोड़े make notes. Don't get into extensive essay writing and this and that, because your content has not built up at this stage, and this is for those people who recently started preparing for this exam. You make sure you clear prelims and you do 80% of your optional syllabus. That is all I'm asking you to do. Because if you start getting into answer writing, write answers of course, but don't make it your end game. That I am preparing for this exam, that means I should be writing for 3 hours, 4 hours every day at this stage. If you don't clear prelims, what will you do of all that answer writing? And given the current nature of this exam, wherein prelims has become so difficult, mains has not evolved that much as prelims has. The nature of questions being asked in mains is the same as it was before, but prelims has drastically changed, right? तो ये करना है, उन 3 months में you have to finish your optional and you have to make GS 1, 2, 3, 4 whatever notes is left, and you have to give mains tests. Now notes कैसे बनाने हैं? Syllabus खोलना है. You have to open the syllabus of GS1. Say there is one. I'll just tell you. So there is this one word, secularism, in GS1 syllabus. Now how do you make notes? All you need is one definition. ठीक है? Now definition should not be what you think. Definition should be, कहीं से भी देख लो कि as per United Nations और as per नीति आयोग और as per World Bank और as per OECD और as per फलना ढिमकाना, सेक्युलरिज्म मीन्स दिस, ठीक है। एंड इसके बाद यू शुड हैव 3-4 लाइन्स ऑन इंडियन एंड वेस्टर्न, मतलब इंडियन नोशन ऑफ फेमिनिज्म नहीं, इंडियन नोशन ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म, दैट्स ऑलवेज ऑन माय माइंड। ऐसे तो इंडियन नोशन ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म एंड वेस्टर्न नोशन ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म पे 2-2, 3 लाइन्स, 4 लाइन्स, दैट इज ऑल यू नीड, because the question will be of 150 marks. See, understand this, the question will be for 150 words, ठीक है। लिखोगे तुम 120 to 130, टाइम नहीं होता है। 20 वर्ड्स का यू आर राइटिंग डेफिनेशन, 20 वर्ड्स का यू आर राइटिंग कंक्लूजन, तो लिखना तो बस 50-60 वर्ड्स ही है ना, तो व्हाट विल यू डू ऑफ 4 पेज नोट्स फॉर 60 वर्ड्स? एंड द क्वेश्चन विल नॉट बी एकदम वैसा ना कि how do you distinction between Indian notion of secularism and Western notion of secularism. It would have asked you something else. In the process, there might be one mention of the different notions of secularism. So understand this. Matlab be very clear on this, that you need to know very little about a lot of things. ठीक है? So when you are making notes, just make sure that you make notes only on the words mentioned in the syllabus. ठीक है? अब इसके बाद challenges and way forward. ये तो W जैसा, हाँ, तो वे फॉरवर्ड में एक जैसे एक सचार कमिटी है या ऐसे कोई भी कमिटी होगी ना, उसका 4-5 रिकमेंडेशन शुड बी देयर विथ यू, ठीक है। सो दिस इज ऑल यू नीड फॉर नोट्स, ओके। पीपल आर मेकिंग नोट्स ऑफ इश्यूज, इश्यूज के लिए तो यार इनसाइट्स, डेली करंट अफेयर्स, मेंस डाइजेस्ट, मेंस क्वेस्ट, मेंस एक्सेलेंस, दुनिया भर की चीजें हैं, है ना। सो नेवर मेक नोट्स ऑफ इश्यूज बिकॉज इश्यूज आर एंडलेस. मेक नोट्स ऑफ themes and definitions and topics mentioned. So how do you approach an answer now? Question I, in recent origin it has been said that there are some threats to Indian regionalism. Okay, elucidate. तो रीजनलिज्म का एक डेफिनेशन, उसके बाद थ्रेट्स टू रीजनलिज्म, यही सब कुछ कुछ, जीएसटी शेयरिंग, ये सब हो रहा है ना अभी आजकल, जीएसटी कंपेंसेशन रिजीम हैज एंडेड, उसके बाद ऑल इंडिया सर्विसेज, वॉट एवर यू रेड इन लक्ष्मीकांत, मतलब जो भी कोअर्सिव फेडरलिज्म के जो भी कुछ कुछ पॉइंट्स हैं, एंड देन वे फॉरवर्ड. वे फॉरवर्ड में आई एम श्योर देयर विल बी सम कमिटी, सम recommendation by Niti Aayog which would have said something about how to avoid regionalism, right? So just on that basis you go ahead. ठीक है, understood? Never make notes of issues because issues are endless ना यार. अब recently Cyrus Mistry died, तो अब उसमें सीट बेल्ट regulations पे notes नहीं बनाना है, ठीक है? Are you understanding what I am saying? मतलब you just have to mention in the passing that there are faulty regulations with respect to seat belt. इससे ज्यादा थोड़ी, एयरबैग नहीं खुला, पीछे नहीं चला, ये नहीं हुआ, ज्यादा नहीं करना है वो. Understood? Are you मतलब getting some clarity as to mains? So now people make notes of mains, endless notes of mains. With this you will be able to consolidate all your notes into 60-70 pages across GS. Same for GS4. Just make good definitions, good examples, and very simple examples. For instance, wherever there used to be a question on emotional intelligence, ठीक है, I always used to write Captain Cool MS Dhoni. मतलब थोड़ा देसी examples ना यार, हमेशा गांधी जी और वो सब, मतलब these people who are evaluating your answer scripts, they have also been doing the same thing, है ना. If its question is about friendship, लिखो शोले में अमिताभ और धर्मेंद्र की दोस्ती जैसी थी, उस टाइप से, मतलब गेटिंग इट. मेक योर पेपर्स एज इनोवेटिव एज यू कैन, एंड जीएस में आई स्कोर्ड वेरी वेल, लाइक 154 आई हैड इन 2019 एंड 111 आई हैड इन 2018. ठीक है, आई एम ऑल्सो एक्सट्रीमली एथिकल, बट दैट इज अनदर थिंग. सो ये है मेंस का ना, बट ऑप्शनल के लिए ये नहीं चलेगा, थोड़ा सा इन डेप्थ नॉलेज यू शुड हैव. ठीक है, वंस यू क्लियर दिस, उसके बाद रिलैक्स करना है 2-3 महीने, 2-3 months you relax. If you get an interview call, great, start preparing for the interview. I won't get into interview preparation because a lot has been said about it already, and it's also a very personal, person to person thing. It's not a very general comment I cannot make, blanket comment I cannot make on the interview. So this is with respect to mains. If you don't clear interview, God forbid, mains, then just you'll know, matlab your own mistakes you will know only when you've written mains. Once you've been able to analyze your mistakes, get hold of one of your mentors, of your faculty here, ask them ki what is the scope for improvement, because they would have also seen how you have performed in mocks, in tests. They'll give you some personalized guidance. Based on that you re-strategize for the next year. Clear है सबको? फटाक से मैं summarize कर देता हूँ, then I'll take some questions. So as of now, your main strategy should be clearing prelims at all costs. ठीक है? Prelims clear करने के लिए you have to solve a lot of papers, not just blanketly कि 100 पेपर सॉल्व किए, हर में 40 आया, तो फिर थोड़ी prelims में जाके अचानक से you'll score 140. Read through the books, see videos on tips and tricks, and use those tips and tricks to solve the paper. ठीक है? This etymology is one thing. Similarly, there can be endless number of tips. I'll probably just look at a question paper and tell you some more tips. CSAT you cannot take lightly. Maths, reasoning, English, all of the chapters individually, high scoring chapters, time, average, clocks, see videos on that, solve papers. Clear prelims, move to mains, very short notes of mains, not of issues you are reading from the newspaper and notes. Only these broad themes. And in addition to this, just note it down if you want to. Niti Aayog ka there is a 75-year plan, okay, which talks about best practices on different sectors. So you have to complement your notes with those things. So make a notes of Niti Aayog best case practices also, like that 75-year action plan. And your optional, whichever is your optional, that you should be reading right now. 80% of it should be covered by prelims. ठीक है? Once you clear mains, then interview. अगर interview नहीं clear होता है तो please rework on your interest. So my watch tells me to breathe, so I'll just take. You can also breathe. Say. So this is all I had to say about the exam. ठीक है? If it has not been useful, I just hope it would have been entertaining at least. So I'm now open to all sorts of questions. Please, जो भी है, please पूछो. और किसी को बहुत स्ट्रेस होगा तो एक बार बाहर मुझसे बात कर लेना, ठीक है? चलो यार, spoken for 1 hour, मतलब 20 minutes तो you engage now. हाँ. I'm sorry, just repeat the question. No. Please, I think matlab is such non-controversial examples you can quote. Like I said, please do not make it very matlab MS Dhoni के साथ who will have a problem यार, है ना? And Sholay also everyone likes. So please do not have such, matlab be creative in your answers यार. That flexibility you should have. No rigid compartmentalization like कि ये नहीं living person नहीं, मतलब मेरे हिसाब से तो बस living person का होना चाहिए. Only living people according to me, because that is what will make your answer relevant. So these small things don't, whatever, matlab if as long as your example is relevant, then you can quote any one. Don't make it very political is what he would have meant, I think. ठीक है? Don't get into politics कि अब मतलब charismatic leader में Adolf Hitler को लिख रहे हो ऐसे, ठीक है? Don't get into political examples, but otherwise sports people, entertainers, non-controversial people ठीक है. अब जैसे अब शाहरुख खान पे कुछ controversy उसी समय चल रहा है तो stay clear. But you got it ना, मतलब be very creative in your answers. हाँ.
Sir, you said to make notes on particular topics of the syllabus, and the perfect time to do the notes, like during the studies or after finishing particular subject.
यार देखो, GS4 को तो मतलब you have to see it in isolation for the purpose of making notes. Examples and all you can correlate from other places. But as of now, if you have time, You just make like similar notes for GS4. And once you clear prelims, okay, then GS1, 2, 3, they are interdisciplinary. I mean, I cannot say that once you finish Lakshmikant, then you make notes on GS2. You make notes on topics and not on subjects. Got it? For instance, regionalism, communalism, secularism, road transport, whatever. So you make notes on topics. And as and when you get a time, you make notes on 3-4 topics of the mains syllabus.
So after finishing the particular topics, you have to.
Like, how do I tell you? Books to you are reading, okay? But books say you will not get information. Arey, ye kya? So books say you will not get it on exactly on secularism, like not in a very crystallized manner. So once you finish reading the book, whenever you get time, you make notes of 5 or 6 such topics, irrespective of whether you've read through the book or not. Okay? But make notes of topics is what I'm saying. But see, there will be some parts of the syllabus that you've covered through books. Then don't make notes of that, because that you've covered from books. Understood? For instance, geography. Matlab, main syllabus mein only in one line the entire geography syllabus is encapsulated, right? Landforms. So don't make notes of landforms because you studied in the textbooks. But such words that you have not studied directly from textbooks, unke notes you have to make like this. Okay? More questions? Huh?
So you said you moved in here
Yeah.
for the second attempt.
First. Second, I didn't have time to move here.
So sir, what was the improvement changes that you made that led to the rank?
I grew in confidence. That's the most important thing. I didn't change my strategy much. Prelims hardly had time now. So 2019 के April में I cleared. 4th April was the result. 274 आया. तो 15-20 दिन तो मस्ती की. उसके बाद फिर मेंस नहीं प्रीलिम्स था शायद 3rd या 4th जून को. सो आई जस्ट हैड 1 मंथ. ठीक है. तो इन दैट 1 मंथ वही मॉक वॉक दे वे के किसी तरीके से प्रीलिम्स क्लियर किया. In those 3 months, GS के लिए I did not do anything different from what I had done in the first year. And trust me यार, when मतलब I am a very living example of a person who has मतलब whose performance in this exam has been very consistent. Will you believe 431 I got in my first attempt in GS, 431. Second attempt I had 431. मतलब can you believe? And in between the subjects also there was no variation. GS4 both the times very good. GS3 both the times very good. GS2 both the times very bad. GS1 both the times average. Essay first time I had 131. Second time I had 133. So how did I improve? So first you need to understand from 274 to 61 you just need 30-40 marks extra. Like not even 40. 30. 25 to 30. 40 तो बहुत ज़्यादा बोल दिया मैंने. So 25 marks extra कैसे आए? 179 I had in my first interview. 194 I had in my second interview. 15 marks I got there. 2 नंबर ऐसे में बढ़े 17 और ऑप्शनल में बढ़े 255 से 261. 6 नंबर वहाँ. तो 17 और 6 is 23 और 2-4 नंबर इधर उधर मतलब पता नहीं कैसे. But that is all I improved. So optional में 6 marks I improved and this I improved in. Interview I improved in. ठीक है. So rank improved just because मतलब optional I studied well ना. When once you give the exam twice or thrice, first attempt से ज़्यादा clarity you get automatically. It's not like you have to do something about it. You just begin to understand answers. Your answers become more nuanced. Your approach towards the exam becomes a little more relaxed. तो इसलिए वो improve हो जाता है. हाँ मतलब GS4 में first time 2019 में GS4 one question I missed, otherwise I would have been the topper यार. No. The point being I missed one question in GS4 in my first attempt, but that didn't make a huge difference because if you're like out of 80 odd questions, if you're attempting 78, 79, now see all GS papers together, you'll be comfortable. Okay, try to attempt all. But 78 मतलब 1-2 क्वेश्चन इधर उधर छूट भी जाएगा तो it won't make a huge difference. ठीक है. और कुछ हाँ. No, never. I never made notes of newspaper because, yeah, how, from what all sources? See, I'll tell you, by the time you prepare, you give the mains exam, now there'll be the problem of plenty. Lot of information you'll have. RS TV, अब तो वो change हो गया है, भारत TV, सांसद TV के notes होंगे, इनसाइट्स मेंस notes होंगे, ये notes होंगे, नीति आयोग के notes होंगे, इतने जगह से notes होंगे. You have to write 150 words only, है ना? तो no notes. अब न्यूज़पेपर से कुछ ऐसा अगर पाथ ब्रेकिंग मिल गया एकदम, जैसे कि मतलब लिख के 5 मार्क्स बढ़ जाए, तब तो बना लो नोट्स. बट अदरवाइज जनरली स्पीकिंग यू शुड नॉट बी making notes out of the newspaper, because by the time you appear for this exam, and this is something I very strongly believe in, by the time you appear for this exam, you will have information from so many sources that one of your sources will become redundant. So why work so hard in the first place? No, don't make notes from the newspaper. Make notes out of your daily current affairs, best practices, all this. That will help. Huh. Okay. I'll tell you my routine when I was here for 2.5 months in Bangalore. Okay? Achha, I hadn't taken any test series here, but I was just here for general mentorship. 8 o'clock I used to start from there. By 8:39 I would be, 8:30 I would have one filter coffee, ek jagah thi, I'll go and say hi to that person. So I used to have filter coffee, start preparing. 8:30 to 11 was my first slot and my most difficult slot because he would prepare optional in that slot. So 8:30 से 11 was my first slot. 11 से 11:30 break again, वहीं पे घूमना उमना, और फिर 11:30 से लेके 1:30 तक second slot, ठीक है. 1:30 for lunch. 2:30 again I would come back. 2:30 से 5:30 third slot. 5:30 से 7, यही मतलब इधर ही आसपास एक भज्जी वाला होता था वहाँ पे, तो would have something there, and then 7 to 8, 8:30 I would study in the last slot. If you see 9-10 hours हो गए. 8:30 I would leave from here, walk up till that place I was staying, have dinner on the way, and by 9 I would reach, and just nothing, just wind down after that. No, talk to my parents, talk to all the well-wishers, and then just go off to sleep. ठीक है, तो ऐसे ही 8-9 घंटे. Sunday I didn't study. A lot of good places around Bangalore I went to on Sundays. Once I also went to Banerghatta, but like safari I couldn't do because there was a huge queue. So that I did on Sundays. कोई और? हाँ. So I'm the last person. You should be asking this. But यार basic funda optional का ये है कि if you are good at one subject, say civil engineering, ठीक है, or mathematics or physics, if you think you are good at it, मतलब your gut should be correct, like it should answer correctly. My gut let me down honestly. I thought I was good at commerce, but somehow in the way I realized कि नहीं. But if you think you are good at a particular subject, which is your background, you take it. That's the first criteria. Don't think these days कि इसमें guidance available है या नहीं, material available है या नहीं, because the exam has evolved and internet has made the entire exam preparation so democratic that information is available across optionals now and guidance is available across optionals. So that is step 1. If you're not good at any subject, ठीक है, then think of a subject that you found interesting at some time. But I'm sure if you will hardly, यार किसको मतलब इतना interest होता है anthropology में या किसी भी subject में, but अगर है तो you take that, और अगर नहीं है तो write down 5 subjects: geography, socio, anthro, political science, pub ad, and pick a chit, and whatever you get you go through. Really, I mean there is no scientific way, ठीक है. This is the 3-pronged approach. If you're good at a subject, take it blindly. Don't think whether there is guidance available or not, because guidance you will find on the way. If not, then find a subject that you are interested in, and if not, then 5 subjects list down. जो भी Tamil literature, Kannada literature, Sanskrit, जो भी आए, because eventually in all the subjects people are scoring across the spectrum now. ठीक है? See, some people say कि sociology is very high scoring, but in socio also there are so many people who are just scoring 180, 200, na? ठीक है, तो ये है.
Many say that if you go for sociology as an optional, it will be helpful for essay writing as well as for the GS papers. So is it okay to go by that?
No, people say that about philosophy also. That is what I'm saying. Now people will say a lot of things. Whatever the interest they are driving, people will talk about that. Okay, for instance, I took up commerce, right? Commerce is one subject, maybe maths is the subject that has the least interlinkage with GS syllabus. But here so much you are reading from other sources, no? So somehow or the other, anyway you will have enough information. Okay? So don't go with this perspective that if I take, a lot of people have taken geography as a result of this. Ki GS1 and GS2 there are extreme interlinkages, and then you realize you don't want to be so interlinked. So, okay, so go with this, with these three things. Matlab don't go with the aspect ki which will help me most in GS preparation and all, because anyway you will have to read for it. In fact, these days people are saying that if you write answers from a very optional, if you write GS answers or essays from a very optional orientation, then you won't do well, right? So if you see those people with law optional, they have never done exceedingly well in GS2. Okay, because then you will think, the person who's correcting your answer papers is a specialist. The person who's correcting your GS papers is not as specialized as your optional evaluator. है ना? More. GS3 का यार देखो, GS3 के लिए एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सोर्स है ये नीति आयोग का जो रिपोर्ट है 2047, मतलब 2-3 रिपोर्ट्स नीति आयोग हैज रिसेंटली पब्लिश्ड. One was Niti Ayog 3-year action agenda, but that was just from 2017 to 20, so that period is gone. Now one is Niti Ayog 75 years action plan. Yes, that's the name of the document. So in that they have come out with recommendations on every aspect of the economy, of the Indian economy, road transport, ये वो फलना ढिमकाना सब, ठीक है. Besides that, थोड़ा सा internal security के लिए just make again small notes. जैसे कि इंडिया म्यांमार, इंडिया पाकिस्तान, इंडिया चाइना, सबके बारे में 10-10 नोट्स, 10-10 लाइन के challenges and way forward on those particular borders, like that. But use this Niti Ayog 75 years action plan extensively, like make very small notes out of it, and 70% of your GS3 will be covered with that. ठीक है? हाँ. हाँ, so right now यार you're taking too much time. When did you start preparing? 1 month, that's why. So 6 months down you won't be asking me this question, because your understanding about different aspects of the syllabus will improve, and gradually your speed will also improve. Yeah, but stick to it. Don't stop reading newspapers. यार ARC reports are old now, ठीक है. So इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ ना कि ये नीति आयोग वगैरह, and I might also be outdated. They might have come out with some more of these documents, policy documents. Make notes from that. ठीक है? हाँ.
So if we are aiming to make it in one go,
हाँ.
what should be our timeline for now, emphasizing that we want to cover the mains preparation at once. So focusing excessively on prelims will be a little.
हाँ. So that's why I'm saying now कि optional you do well at this stage, and focus on prelims, and make notes of one of the GS papers 1 through 4 से. ठीक है. Essays if you don't write right now, there will be no problem. ठीक है. So ये if you do up till the next year, you will be very comfortable in those 3.5 months. ठीक है. And as far as answer writing is concerned, you can start with writing a couple of answers, 3 answers, 4 answers every day. But yeah, honestly, in my opinion, there are different, very diverged views on this. But for those people who have not cleared prelims before, prelims should be their main focus. ठीक है, मतलब please keep this in mind, and consider this a very earnest request from a well-wisher. The strategy of this exam will differ if you are at a different stage. ठीक है, if you've cleared prelims before, or if you are consistently clearing prelims, then all of your preparation should be mains focused. But as of now, 70%, 40% of your effort should be on prelims as of now, 40% on optional, and 20% on answer writing and GS notes preparation. Because the way I have asked you to prepare notes, now anyway within 1 month you will be able to finish notes of all the syllabus, of the entire syllabus. Yeah.
So actually when writing answers, there will be like point question.
Yeah.
Like in that we have to explain the concept and example.
Huh.
So while consuming the space, what should be over like putting in like example should be explained more or concept should be explained?
Here we'll have to see the question, honestly. Okay. I cannot answer this question in isolation, but my funda was very simple. I would come up with a definition. If I didn't have a definition, or if I couldn't manufacture a definition right then I would give some trivia, some stat, and then just write when we are giving a concept, no. For example, just say road congestion pe, if there is a question on Bangalore floods, for instance. So if we are writing encroachment of water bodies as one of the reasons, okay. So this is a self-explanatory concept. You don't need examples. But then there will be certain concepts in which you need examples. For instance, I'm not able to think of anything till now, but one line may concept and just one very small example appended to that. Okay. We don't have to make a question, make an answer exclusively about answers or about examples or concepts. One concept and just a very small example linked to that. That is what we are looking at. No. Last 3 months you drop optional JS everything. Again, depends on which stage of the exam you are at. For instance, if you are one of those khiladis who constantly clear prelims, okay, then last 2 months tak you can be doing your optional or whichever part of JS you are weak in. But for the ordinary mortals like you and me, last 3 months we have to drop it. No stories, no space and time. Okay. Yeah, anecdotes, like small things you can mention if you have time, but examples will make your case very powerful. Matlab you should get hold of good examples. Okay. Stories also, anecdotes also you can mention. For instance, one very good example that has stuck with me of probity. Okay, probity in administration. So and this is taken from Insights website also. I was reading through some article, some Insights preparation article based on which I have picked up this example. So there was one IAS officer, I forgot his name. He would keep 2 candles at his home, 2 set of candles. When he was reading official files, then he would light official candle. Okay. So not IAS officer, then that person. So social scientist, can I call him? Engineer. So he would keep 2 set of candles. One for looking at official papers and one for looking at personal reading. So matlab this is an example or a story, like whatever you can call it. So such very powerful narratives can really build your case. Okay. So don't restrict yourself here, be very creative here and there. Matlab examples, stories, whatever you can think of, as long as it adds value to your case, you go ahead with that.
I'm in my starting phase of preparation, sir. I'm reading politics, but reading current affairs or newspaper, I'm not able to understand that level of economic part of newspaper or current affairs. How to cope with that?
So I'll tell you, matlab that will happen because you've just started, you're in your initial stage. Once you get hold of your concepts, newspaper reading will automatically come to you. But for those concepts that you are not able to understand, and coaching will happen at its own pace. So on YouTube, just look for small explainer videos. No, 1 minute mein repo rate, reverse repo rate. 1 minute mein they have these animated explainer videos. See that. See for as many concepts as you can. Or एक कोई 2.5 hours का basic economic macroeconomic concepts का 2.5 hours का कोई video, animated video type का होगा YouTube पे. Watch that, then start reading the newspaper. I'm sure there will be a video on basic macroeconomy. ठीक है?
Sir, in what way we have to focus in last 3 months?
Solve as many papers as you can, revise as many times as you can, the same sources that you have already studied through the year. That's it. Nothing, no rocket science in last 3 months also. Just solve a paper every alternate day, analyze it well, and as many questions, as many revisions as you can do in those 3 months. या यस यस हाँ पूछो. हाँ मतलब if you've done something really that deserves a special mention, you can quote it. ठीक है. But your own examples should be in cases where you faced a dilemma, ethical dilemma, and how you overcome it. You overcame it. ठीक है. तो थोड़ा बहुत yes you can use. Like I said, यार there is no restriction imposed by UPSC and no guideline also. ठीक है. Just non-political and that is a general guideline. कि make your answers non-political, nothing more than that. I think I'm done. Last 2-3 questions I'll take. Okay.
So you said you maintained a 10-hour
हाँ 8 to 10 मतलब.
throughout 2 years. How does one maintain that?
Sundays I never studied. ठीक है. So I would look forward to Sundays. Like the entire week to study well. The entire week my motivation was that Sundays I will not touch any book. यार. Not even touch. मतलब. So I never studied on Sundays. In fact, insights का टेस्ट संडे को होता था, तो मैं सैटरडे रात 12 बजे से दे देता था. सैटरडे नाइट 12 o'clock I used to solve it. कि 12 to 2 now I can enjoy. So and मतलब none of the things I'm saying I have lied to you. I have been as candid, as honest as I can. If you go through the database of prelims 18-19, there will be one person. My name in my preparation days was Lethal. So if you see the profile name Lethal say, you will be able to see this guy Lethal solved all 35 prelims tests on at midnight. रात 12 बजे से 2 बजे तक. That is because I never studied on Sundays. ठीक है. तो 10 hours नहीं यार. We are looking at 8 solid hours of preparation 6 days a week. When you work in the private sector or government sector for that matter, like 12 hours every day, daily putting in 12 hours is a normal year. It's routine. So when we are preparing for an exam of this magnitude, 8 to 10 hours of dedicated study 6 days a week followed by rest on Sunday is definitely you can do it. So test taking again, matlab maybe here tests are organized on Sundays, but give yourself that flexibility, no? Saturday ko do. Or take the evening off at least. है ना? हाँ. यार थोड़ा सा पढ़ लो, मतलब read the editorial, or at this stage if you're finding it extremely difficult, go for the editorial analysis and then breeze through the editorial. Because what will happen, no? Once you get into the habit of not reading editorials, your reading speed will never improve and your analytical abilities will also not improve. It will, matlab your comprehension skills in GS, in CSAT will remain poor. So read editorials. You will become more insightful, more analytical. हाँ both. मतलब first you, after some time once you start understanding the editorials, you will anyway drop the editorial analysis videos. हाँ.
Can you share some experience after joining the service?
Okay. What sort of experience? Where are you from? You are from Manipur. So you would have related with this completely, no? So what does OM mean as a OM?
It is all the surnames were ended with the IM. Sir.
Okay.
AM, sir. Sorry.
AM.
Yes, sir. Even my surname is Thana also, sir. So because
So see, matlab this is not fundebazi that I gave you. So such things you have to be very like useful. So yeah, one funny incident I will share and then followed by one thing that one very small thing that I did. So I'll tell you how difficult things can be initially. I went to Mizoram and Mizoram mein Mizo is spoken extensively and like Manipur mein the level of understanding of Hindi is very good. People can speak and understand Hindi. Almost the entire population can. But Mizoram mein the understanding of Hindi is a little is not great. And Mizo and English works well. So the driver who had been allotted to me initially, he could just speak in Mizo, but I could not speak in Mizo. So somehow we had developed a sign language to communicate between us. Later, after like 3-4 months, I really, honestly, I picked up the language also and I started speaking and reading, so I could understand also because the script in Mizoram is the Roman script, so you can understand. So what happened, in the northeast, when it rains, it doesn't rain, like it pours completely. It rains very heavily. Trust me, like Bangalore rains, you've not seen the downpour when it happens in the northeast. So I was very new in Mizoram. It was the first week, and my office was in like DC office Aizawl. I was Assistant Commissioner Aizawl. So where we used to stay, all IAS officers had a colony in Aizawl, and Amazon didn't deliver in that colony. So all seniors, one of the many things that the probationer did, like probationer is the person who does district training in the district. So out of a lot of responsibilities, one responsibility that he had was all the packages of all seniors would be delivered at DC office, and then the probationer would get hold of all the packages and bring them back home in the evening. Okay, because all of us were staying together. Whoever would be posted in DC office would do this actually. So that day I had 2 or 3 packages to deliver, and on my way back I stopped at a senior's place. So I just got out of the vehicle and it was raining very, very heavily. It was pouring that day. So I just pressed the bell of my senior's door, handed over the package to her. Normally she would have called me in for coffee, but that day I think she was sleepy or something. So okay, Priyank. So when I was alighting from the vehicle, I just told the driver like this: ki U-turn, keep the vehicle in U-turn so that I can just quickly come out and go. So by the time I came out, he's gone. He's not there. He thought I had asked him to go home. Now you imagine at 6 p.m. in the evening, it is raining heavily. Okay, it is raining heavily. I'm getting drenched. Packages to have delivered responsibly, but the driver is nowhere to be seen. And now I have his number, but I call him and tell him what? Come back here. Like, what do I tell him? So now I'm in a fix. What to do. So I'm thinking. So in my college group, there used to be one Mizo girl, baby Lalthan Hui. So after 5 years I hadn't spoken to her. I just and I didn't even have a number. But in my college WhatsApp group, I just like I was praying कि भाई इसका number मिल जाए. उसमें I said खोज के निकला baby. I called her. She was also surprised. Hey Priyank, what are you doing in Aizawl? So I was like, baby, we'll hello we'll do later. You just help me out. This is the situation. So she said, okay, give your driver's number to me. So I gave her his number. Then she called him and said, "Arey bhai, he's getting wet, वापस जाओ." So these small challenges like we faced on an everyday basis. So really funny when you are in that situation. It's like you are helpless, and you cannot even scold the driver because he's also not at fault. It's your fault that you can't speak the language, right? So that was it. Yeah, and the other thing is, on an everyday basis, you get so many opportunities to work for the last mile. So there was this woman. I was holding an independent charge of settlement officer. Now, settlement officer is someone who looks after all the land revenue matters in the northeast. So for 3 weeks, I was settlement officer, and then there was this lady who had been coming to that office for the past 2 or 3 years for a very simple thing. It was land conversion, and she didn't even have access to. And trust me, in the hierarchy, settlement officer is not very high in the order of things. But for 2.5 years, she couldn't get an appointment for the appointment of the settlement officer. She just happened to see me. I was also very eager, enthusiastic to help people. I used to keep my door open. If koi bhi aaye, anyone can walk in and talk to me. So this lady walked in because the doors were open. Normally the doors are never open of the officers. So she just said ki, sir, aisa. I immediately understood that what she's asking for is correct. I just had to put my initials. So what happens in the UPSC at that age in life where even your signature you have not finalized or zeroed down upon, it starts it matters. And that signature mattered to her, right? So even now I'm in touch with her. She keeps telling me, "Sir, wo kaam ho gaya. Thank you so much." So such small things you can really do. Matlab, at my level, the kind of seniority I am at, some transformational changes I have not been able to do, and trust me, none of my batchmates who have been in service for only 2 years can boast about doing very transformational things. But such small things, trust me, all 180 of us have done. So that way, matlab, life in the service is, it's not a job, matlab, it's a service, and it gives you immense satisfaction. When the COVID wave was at its peak in Mizoram, so somehow we faced like there was a acute shortage of oxygen cylinders everywhere, oxygen concentrators, oxygen cylinders. Masks were also like N95 masks and PPE kits, all of that was in shortage for a time, oxygen concentrators especially. So oxygen crisis hadn't hit Mizoram, but the other parts were really reeling under that crisis, right? So my DC just asked me that can we get some oxygen concentrators and such protective equipment from corporate social responsibility? And trust me, I have no industrial friends, I have no friends in the private sector even. Now how do I go about this thing? So I just zeroed down on 4 or 5 organizations, ACT grants, a lot of people who were doing similar work in CSR. I just created an email, priyankishore.ias@gmail.com, which is also my email wherein you can send me your queries, right? I just created an email and started writing emails to these people. Ki, dear so and so, this is the current situation in Aizawl. We have been able to keep the number of cases down to the bare minimum, but in order to be equipped for the second wave and any further exigencies, we have to be prepared. So in this regard, can your organization help us with say 100 oxygen concentrators or one PSA, that oxygen plant that was in the limbo then. So such things we did, and trust me, when an email goes from an IAS officer's handle, people take it seriously, and we got so many things in CSR. Okay. So in a nutshell, you have the power to empower. If I have to summarize my entire journey in one sentence, there are so many things you can do at all levels. Like I have been in the district for only 1 year, but that 1 year has also like made me a more mature person, has equipped me with the skills to take on challenges in a head-on manner. So that is how the service has been, and it has been lovely interacting with all of you. Like I said, you can always reach out to me on different social media handles. I might not reply to all the emails, but trust me, every serious message or email that comes to me, which in my opinion, I think that person is in serious trouble or that person is in need of serious guidance, I definitely try and reply back to whosoever I want. And that's it, yaar. Matlab, all the best to all of you. Stay healthy, stay happy, and matlab, see, you are definitely at a stressful stage in life, but when you come out of it, come out of this stage, you will definitely be in a much better position. Okay? Keep studying consistently, 8-10 hours, take breaks, stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you. So, how I judge whether the session was successful, not a lot of people have moved out due to boredom. So I think fairly calm chal gaya. Thank you so much for turning up, and it was lovely interacting with all of you. Thank you. Just 1 second. Sorry.
I've been taking coaching from one month to last 1 month. Okay. The time has been sandwiched between 2 classes, GS classes and the optional classes. And I'm not getting much of time to study half the classes. How to break the
Optional also you are taking now, but your optional coaching will end soon.
4 months, like for 4 months, for nearly for December.
Nearly till December. So, जो भी time मिल रहा है, just keep revising your notes,
Class notes.
class notes. Okay.